The individual who remains constantly in your thoughts truly carries deep care for you. Even though everything between you might seem cloudy, contradictory, or complex right now, a profound purpose exists for why this soul keeps returning to your awareness repeatedly. It is not an accident or a random occurrence. It is not taking place merely because you are bored, isolated, or experiencing emotional vulnerability at this time. Something of great significance is keeping this link alive deep within your inner world and your daily emotions. This individual appears in your mind for a distinct purpose. Even when you apply no effort to think about them, they arrive in your thoughts during peaceful intervals when the clamor of the world quietens and your mind finally rests. They manifest in the brief pauses between your routine reflections, in those exact moments just before slumber when your defenses are entirely lowered. At times, they materialize without any warning right in the middle of a routine day while you are engaged in ordinary tasks. If you can't stop thinking about someone, even when you try, hit like and let this message reach more hearts. You might be occupied with your obligations, conversing with someone, sharing laughter with friends, or experiencing tranquility, and suddenly their countenance appears in your mind without any invitation. Their voice, their grin, or a particular memory tied to them surfaces within you without any pressure or striving. It takes place naturally and fluidly on its own. You might have attempted on numerous occasions to push these reflections away from your concentration. You might have told yourself resolutely that it is time to move forward and that reflecting on them no longer brings any benefit to your life. You might have reminded yourself repeatedly of the perplexity, the space, or the extended silence that stands between you both. On occasion, you might have questioned your own thoughts very deeply. You might have wondered if you are visualizing something that is not actually real, or clinging to expectation without any firm ground beneath it. You might have questioned yourself why they still signify so much when nothing appears transparent or resolved between you. Yet, regardless of how intensely you try to occupy your mind with other matters, they persist in returning to your thoughts faithfully. Even when you tell yourself you are entirely finished with everything, even when you feel capable for a duration, they stay quietly present within you. This is not a coincidence, and it is not an indication that something is amiss with you whatsoever. It does not signify that you are blocked, hopeless, or incapable of moving past yesterday. It means there is a bond that has not been entirely resolved yet in your common narrative. It signifies that something emotional still resides between you, whether it has been spoken aloud or not in transparent words. Links like this are not established by basic logic or meticulous strategy alone. They are not governed by willpower, regardless of how potent it seems. They are shaped at a more profound level, where sentiment, memory, and genuine substance unite over time. When someone persists in appearing in your reflections without any striving from your side, it frequently signifies that there is incomplete emotional currency still lingering between you both. Something was experienced deeply, even if it was never entirely conveyed in speech or deeds. Something was participated in between you, even if it was never transparently identified or classified correctly. This individual may be reflecting on you as well, even if they do not reach out or speak transparently about their internal feelings right now. Reflections do not always journey in spoken language or texts. Sentiments do not always manifest through immediate deeds or transparent actions. Sometimes individuals carry emotions quietly inside because they feel hesitant about what to do with them at this juncture. They might feel flooded, fearful, or doubtful concerning tomorrow. Type still if there's someone who keeps appearing in your thoughts no matter what you do. They might not comprehend exactly how to act upon what they experience, so they retain it inside for the moment. But simply because they remain quiet does not mean they are devoid of care or sentiment toward you. You might perceive them at unexpected intervals during your day or night. You might experience a sudden surge of emotion like warmth, melancholy, or longing without understanding exactly why it lands. You might feel linked to them even when there is physical or emotional space dividing you both. This is not merely imagination playing games with your mind. Powerful emotional links frequently operate beneath the surface in manners that are difficult to perceive transparently. They do not always abide by transparent regulations or anticipated schedules in life. They reside quietly while shaping your reflections and sentiments in ways that are tough to explain completely. You are not fragile for feeling this way whatsoever, because you are simply human in every capacity. Caring deeply does not vanish simply because you resolve with your intellect that it must conclude. The heart does not transition forward simply because the intellect instructs it to do so immediately. When something significant has moved you, it leaves an enduring imprint within, and that imprint stays until it has been completely comprehended, mended, or gently altered over time. This link does not mean you ought to wait without end or neglect your own requirements and advancement. It simply signifies that what you experienced between you was incredibly real and consequential. It means the bond truly mattered in your life journey. Perplexity does not nullify love or wipe out its presence. Silence does not eliminate the sentiment that still survives. Space does not always mean there is an absolute lack of feeling on their part. Sometimes it signifies there is fear, doubt, or inner conflict taking place on the other side of this link. You might never receive transparent responses from them, or one day you might suddenly obtain them. But irrespective of what transpires next, your own journey remains completely valid and genuine. The thoughts you possess are not random or purposeless. The emotions you experience are not hollow at all. They are components of a narrative that moved you deeply and transformed something within. If this individual continues to reside in your thoughts, it is because something between you has not completely concluded yet. That does not signify it must persist forever in the identical manner. It simply means it mattered an immense amount. And things that matter always require time to settle peacefully in the soul. Be gentle with yourself during this season. Do not evaluate your thoughts critically or force your sentiments to conclude rapidly. Comprehension frequently arrives slowly and naturally with patience. And sometimes the intent of a link is not to endure forever, but to transform you, to teach you vital insights, and to remind you of your capacity to feel deeply. Even in perplexity and even in silence, that link still contains genuine significance for both sides. When someone occupies your reflections this profoundly and steadily over time, it usually signifies the emotional thread between you and them is still vital and functioning. Even if you no longer converse frequently, even if conditions pulled you apart, and even if silence has endured much longer than either of you anticipated, your intellect is not simply holding on to the past without cause. Comment connected. If you feel a profound bond with someone, even in silence and space, your soul is reacting to something that feels incomplete between you. There is something between you that never attained a transparent conclusion or settlement. Human beings are not unsettled by what is concluded and resolved. We are unsettled by what is left open, cloudly, and emotionally unresolved in our existence. You might observe that you think of them when something positive occurs in your life, and you desire to share the happiness. When you undergo a minor triumph, a humorous occurrence, or something exquisite, they enter your mind as the individual you wish to inform immediately. You envision sharing minor elements of your day with them, because those matters seem trivial on the surface, but feel significant to you inside. You ponder how they are feeling, even when your own life is full and occupied with many pursuits. Sometimes you feel a peculiar attraction, not just toward their physical presence, but toward their essence, their emotional world, and their inner state. This type of attraction occurs when two individuals are emotionally attuned to the identical frequency, even across space and silence. What most individuals do not comprehend is that emotional bonds do not vanish simply because communication halts abruptly. Silence does not eliminate a link or shared sentiments. Space does not cancel emotional attachment that was constructed over time. When two individuals connect at a profound level, that bond leaves a mark on the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not function on basic logic or rigid time boundaries. It functions on significance, emotion, and incomplete business that requires regard. If you are still reflecting on them, it is because some component of you recognizes that the narrative is not completely written yet. This also explains why the link feels intricate and tough to comprehend. Sometimes love that is uncomplicated usually settles into transparency without much battle. Love that feels distant, confusing, or postponed frequently exists in the interval between fear and desire. One or both of you might be fearful of vulnerability, fearful of transformation, fearful of re-experiencing past pain, or fearful of wanting something that feels uncertain or tough right now. Fear does not wipe out love entirely. It postpones it for a duration. It conceals it momentarily and generates distance where proximity is desired but feels perilous. You might ponder why, if they love you, they have not acted yet or reached out in transparent manners. Why they have remained quiet for so long without clarification. Love does not always travel in a linear path or follow anticipated directions. Many individuals feel deeply, but do not comprehend exactly how to act on those powerful feelings inside. Some individuals are emotionally defensive because of past occurrences. Some are bearing scars from earlier involvements that still influence them. Some are caught between obligation and desire in their present existence. Some feel unmerited of the love they experience, and some believe they need to repair themselves before they permit proximity again. The intellect frequently returns to what the heart cannot resolve easily. This is why they surface in your thoughts when you are tranquil, when you are quiet, or when you are emotionally receptive without disruptions. At night, when disruptions drop away, the subconscious speaks more transparently than during occupied hours. During the day, when your defenses are down, the identical natural occurrence takes place without pressure. Type yes if you want me to reveal why this person is still living in your mind every day. This is not you forcing the reflection into your mind. It surfaces on its own from more profound places. That is a vital detail to remember always. Thoughts that arrive uninvited frequently emerge from deeper emotional strata within you. There is also something else taking place beneath the surface. When these memories surface, when you think of them, you are not only reflecting on who they are as an individual. You are also reflecting on who you were when you felt linked to them in unique manners. Particular individuals awaken components of us that remained dormant with others previously. They reflect something back to us that feels familiar, significant, or truly vital inside. Losing access to that reflection can feel like losing a component of yourself for a season. This is why the longing feels deeper than basic attraction alone. Space between two individuals who care for each other frequently exists not because love is absent, but because timing, fear, or internal friction stands in the pathway for now. You might feel that something is keeping both of you back from transitioning closer. That perception is usually accurate and worth noting. When emotions remain vital without resolution, the psyche preserves the link alive until it discovers comprehension or closure. You might also experience intervals of emotional perplexity from time to time. One day you feel capable and unattached from it all, and the subsequent day, a minor reminder brings everything back intensely. Share this video if you believe real connections never fully disappear, even when things feel unclear. This variation is normal and component of the journey. It signifies your conscious intellect is attempting to shield you while your emotional mind is still linked underneath. These two components do not always concur perfectly with each other. Healing does not mean forcing yourself to forget everything completely. It means comprehending why the bond exists and what it is requesting of you at this phase. Sometimes the link stays because there is an insight to be gained from it. Sometimes it stays because communication is not concluded between you, and sometimes it stays because both individuals are slowly developing toward the same emotional reality, even if they are not prepared at the identical time. Emotional timing is rarely synchronized perfectly in life. If you feel that they love you but stay distant, it is probable because they are battling an internal conflict of their own. They might experience the identical attraction you feel toward them. They might think of you more than you realize at this juncture. They might ponder if you still care deeply for them too. But instead of transitioning closer immediately, they waver because of numerous explanations. This wavering frequently emerges from fear of loss, fear of dismissal, or fear of altering their present life situation too rapidly. Love does not always declare itself loudly with grand displays. Sometimes it conceals behind silence and cautious actions. Sometimes it bides behind caution for the correct moment. Sometimes it observes quietly, wishing for the flawless time to step forward without peril. The lack of deed does not always signify the lack of feeling on their part. What signifies most right now is not attempting to govern the ultimate conclusion completely. It is comprehending what the link is displaying to you about yourself and your own advancement. It might be teaching you patience in vital ways. It might be teaching you self-worth and inner capability. It might be requesting you to halt chasing and begin relying on the journey more. Or it might be equipping you to receive transparency when the time is correct. Whether that transparency arrives through reunion or gentle relinquishment, you are not foolish for feeling this way. You are not fragile for reflecting on them so frequently. You are reacting to a bond that exists past surface logic and basic explanations. The intellect attempts to explain it away with explanations, but the heart identifies it instantly as genuine. When something truly matters in life, it does not vanish easily or rapidly. If they love you and the space stays for now, then time and inner advancement are performing vital operations behind the scenes in both of you. Comment heart. If this message is speaking directly to what you're feeling right now, links like this frequently transition slowly because they bear genuine depth and significance. Depth demands readiness, and readiness cannot be accelerated. Irrespective of how much we desire it for now, permit the thoughts to transition without critical evaluation on yourself. Do not enforce additional significance onto them, but do not dismiss them either without reflection. Direct regard to how you feel when they surface in your mind, like tranquility, warmth, melancholy, longing, or expectation, because all bear helpful data. Your emotions are speaking to you transparently in these intervals. Keep in mind this vital truth that what is intended for you does not demand constant battle or distress. It might demand patience, but it will not insist that you desert yourself or your requirements. Whether this link develops into something material or slowly recedes with time, it is forming you in manners you cannot yet completely perceive or comprehend. And if one day the space closes naturally, it will be because both of you are finally prepared to meet without fear keeping you back. Until then, rely that what you are undergoing has genuine significance, even if the significance is not completely transparent yet in this interval. When you reflect on someone repeatedly, when their presence stays in your mind from sunrise until nightfall, there is frequently a quiet link occurring beneath the surface of routine life. Many times, they are reflecting on you too, even if they never declare it aloud or even completely acknowledge it to themselves. Yes, they love you, even if those words have never been spoken between you. Love does not always surface in apparent ways that everyone can perceive transparently. It does not always arrive as transparent deeds, bold actions, or assured choices immediately. Sometimes love displays itself in silence and patience. Sometimes it displays itself in waiting for superior timing. Sometimes it displays itself in careful control to shield what matters. The individual you cannot halt reflecting on may feel a very profound love for you. Truly, that love may be powerful, weighty, and steady inside them. But love does not always signify they are prepared to step forward immediately. Readiness and love are not identical matters in every scenario. Someone can love you with their entire heart and still feel incapable of transitioning closer at this time for personal explanations. They might feel unmerited of you, as if you are too excellent, too benevolent, or too complete for them right now. They might be fearful of injuring you because they comprehend how delicate and invaluable the link feels to them. They might believe that the timing is incorrect, that life is too intricate at the moment, or that conditions are not aligned correctly yet. They might be bearing old injuries that were never completely mended from previously. Distress from past involvements, letdowns, betrayals, or losses still resides quietly inside them and shapes their selections. They might fear that if they attain proximity, they could lose you entirely in some manner. So instead of transitioning toward you openly, they pause and hold back. Instead of reaching out, they waver with care. Instead of admitting what they feel powerfully, they retain it inside to stay secure. This is not because they feel too little toward you. It is because they feel too much, and it overpowers them. When feelings are minor, individuals act without reflecting much. When feelings are light, individuals undertake risks easily without anxiety. But when love is genuine and touches something deep inside, individuals become careful and contemplative. Fear begins to whisper inquiries into their mind and forms their selections. Drop a heart if you sense they're thinking about you too, but something is holding them back. When love is occasional, individuals transition freely without much concern. They message without anxiety or overthinking. They speak without fear of results. They step forward without reflecting too much about what could turn out poorly later. But when love feels significant and like it could alter everything vital, individuals decelerate naturally. They become conscious of what is truly at stake in the relationship. They begin to think about obligation, about influence, and about what could turn out poorly if not managed well. They begin to shield not only themselves, but also the other individual they care for deeply. Many individuals ponder why space can exist even when love is present and powerful. This space is not generated by a deficiency of emotion or care. It is generated by an internal battle occurring inside them. On one side of their heart, they feel you powerfully and perceive your presence, your essence, and your importance to them. On the other side, they feel pressure, fear, obligation, and uncertainty pulling in different routes. These two sides pull against each other, generating tension and perplexity within. They might inquire of themselves tough questions repeatedly about tomorrow. What if I cannot offer them what they merit in life? What if I disappoint them severely? What if I spoil something beautiful between us? What if I am not mended enough yet to transition forward securely? What if my past problems follow me into this link and generate complications? What if transitioning closer renders things more intricate instead of superior for both? What if I lose governance of my emotions completely? What if I lose them entirely because of my fears? These inquiries do not emerge from indifference or deficiency of care. They emerge from caring deeply and comprehending that love has genuine weight and results. So they select space as a type of protection for now. Not protection from you personally, but protection from their own overwhelming feelings. They step back, not because they do not desire you, but because they are overwhelmed by how much they truly desire you in their existence. Sometimes, space is the sole route they comprehend how to govern feelings that feel too grand to handle easily. They might not have acquired how to love securely without fear taking over. They might not rely on themselves completely with something that matters so much to them. They might believe that staying quiet is more secure than speaking and risking everything vital. Silence can feel easier than displaying vulnerability openly. Space can feel more secure than complete proximity when emotions run high. This kind of love is perplexing for the one who waits patiently on the alternative side. It can make you question yourself and your own feelings at times. It can make you ponder if the link is genuine or only envisioned in your mind. But real love does not always display itself in flawless and effortless manners that everyone anticipates. Sometimes it appears broken, wavering, and fearful of transitioning too rapidly. Sometimes it conceals behind logic and practical pretexts for a duration. Sometimes it selects waiting over immediate deed to prevent errors. The individual who loves you deeply but stays distant frequently feels divided every solitary day inside. They think about you when they awaken, and when they drop asleep at night, your name intersects their mind in quiet intervals throughout the day. They replay old dialogues in their thoughts. They envision what could be potential between you, and then fear pulls them back again into caution. This back and forth can be draining for them, even if you never perceive the battle directly. They may believe they require to repair themselves before they can offer love correctly. They may feel they require to be more capable, more stable, or more complete as an individual first. They may believe you merit someone superiorly prepared for a healthy relationship. So they step aside wishing that space will shield you and them at the identical time from distress. But love that is held back does not vanish completely. It stays vital inside. It develops quietly in its own route. It waits for superior environments. And even in silence, it persists to exist powerfully. Even in space, it stays present and significant. Love does not always resemble active chase or constant contact. Sometimes it resembles control, careful waiting, and someone battling their own fears every day while still holding you tightly in their soul. If you feel this profound link deeply, it is not your imagination generating misplaced expectation, as true emotional bonds exist in energy, reflection, and intuition that go far past language or visible deeds alone. This distressing space does not signify a deficiency of love, but rather that their inner courage has not yet caught up to the immense depth of their feelings. Over time, internal frictions can soften with development, fears can lose their secure grip, and injuries can mend naturally, permitting the space between you to close in its own unique route. Until that transpires, pulling back functions as their quiet shield, a momentary pause to breathe and retain emotional governance when caring too much feels perilous and completely overwhelming. For you, however, that space feels incredibly acute and weighty on the heart, because you are deeply vulnerable to the subtlest emotional transitions and alterations around you. You do not simply identify silence as vacant space. You feel it intensely in your chest, your thoughts, and in the quiet, recurring intervals when your mind keeps returning to the exact identical individual without striving. You observe the precise interval, warmth becomes caution. Yet the most powerful connections frequently transition through the most extended silences, not because they are broken, but because they are still forming their genuine configuration. Some bonds are too deep to vanish cleanly, extending across time and waiting patiently for resolution rather than immediate responses. There is an unspoken bond between you that outlives without constant texts, staying so vital that a random melody or name can instantly agitate your soul. Like this video, Comment the word meaning if this touched you deeply.